Thanks, Kanye, for that one.
It's so good. All right. Well, hey, guys. We're back. And we have our friend Kat here today.
Hey, happy to be here.
We're so happy. It's going to be great. I can't hear myself, and this is really strange for me now.
You're just going to have to deal with it.
I don't like it.
Just trust.
I don't like it.
Liv. Just let it.
Yes. Amanda, are you excited?
Trust the process.
I can't trust the process. I don't trust anything. Anyway.
I am excited. Like, I'm excited.
It's going to be great.
Yeah.
It's going to be
wonderful. We say that every single time. That should be, like, on our T-shirts. It's going to be great.
Can we? That is my catchphrase.
Yeah, it
Between
is
that and power through, and I don't care, but that's a tiny human thing.
Right.
Oh, well.
Anyway.
Anywho, what are we talking about today? Am I going to say it? I think Kat should say it because I know you're really excited about this.
Oh, I'm stoked. I know there's lots of sarcasm in that, but I truly am. This is a podcast episode about body image. Woo! Woohoo! Which is equal parts hard to talk about and exciting to talk about because I think a lot of people will relate.
Yeah, it's just it's one of those topics that there's a lot to say about it. Yeah. A ton to say about it. Amanda, how do you feel about body image?
I kind of feel like
uncomfortable.
I feel uncomfortable because I feel like if I like just go off and start speaking my mind about body image, I'm going to probably offend some people, and that's not the kind of thing that I want to do. I never want to set out to offend anybody, but it's a really hard topic to try to tiptoe around and not like offend anybody because you can't really.
It's a very personal thing. It is. So it's easy to step on somebody's
toes,
thoughts about it.
And I'm going to say this. You said you didn't want to set out to offend anybody. You're not somebody who sets out to offend anybody.
I don't.
Now, could you say things in a manner in which they're less than delicate? Sure. But
which is what I do most of the time.
Yeah, that's why we're friends.
I really can't help that. But, you know, the moment that you have to stop and pause and think about something, then they're like, oh, she's trying to make something up. And yeah, I am trying to make something up. I'm trying to say something to you that, you know, might
offend you,
strike the wrong chord, but maybe it still needs to be said, but I'm still trying. But it doesn't matter because the moment that you take that pause and then you think about what you're trying to say to somebody, they're like, nope, I'm done. Turned off. Whatever it is that you're going to say, I'm not going to listen to it.
The world does not wait for our ADHD brains to process what we want to say.
Right. Like, I'm not the wittiest person in the world. I do come up with some stuff from time to time that I'm like, yes, patting myself on the back for. But especially when it comes to body image, and, you know, it's an area that I deal in with my business. You know, it's really rough when, especially like when I see somebody come in and you can tell that they just don't have like the body confidence that they probably could have. And then they're just down on themselves all the time. It's really hard for me to try to help them build that confidence back up. It is something that I want to do, but I don't feel like it's something that I could do confidently without offending somebody, you know? So it's rough.
Yeah. So I don't know. I can kind of from that go on to something
segue.
else. Okay, cool.
Go into it.
So I think when we're talking about as a topic of whole body image, there are a couple of categories for me that are like well discussed parts or narratives within body image as a like us as a society, as women especially, what's been said and is out there that most people know. So for me, there's obviously we have the body positivity movement, which is a very specific kind of movement, and we also have a cultural over-sexualization of bodies and a specific way that goes. And then there's also
diet culture.
There's a lot of facets to it. So for me, my biggest struggle with discussing body image for always has been, I feel like the body positivity movement, which has, I think, done overall a lot of good. I have never felt like I felt like there was something wrong with me because I couldn't just get over it and love my body, which seems to be the general push in body positivity. And it's about like changing what we say beauty is, changing what we say is good and normal. And I think there are parts of that really resonate with me. And then there's other parts of it that I'm like, I feel a lot of guilt and shame because I can't get there.
So maybe
or I've had a lack of tools to get there.
Right.
So
it's a good cause, but
yes.
it's really, let's say, difficult for majority of the population to say, yeah, I'll just do this. I'll just love myself. It's not, it's never as simple as that, because you have to, for lack of better words, get over yourself and get over the thoughts that you have been conditioned to think for however many years now, to say, oh, this isn't true. This isn't true. And that's not something that it's not a switch that you just turn off. It's something that takes actual work and mindfulness every day to change.
Yeah, so I think there's 2 reasons why that's difficult. And I think a lot of it is very image-based body positivity, which is about like, I want to put out there that I'm body positive. And I want the world, or like a big population, to see that. Is like, I think that's a thing that a lot of people do.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think that there are tools that people need to like really understand that. And it's not just seeing that and being like, yeah, okay, good. It's also, okay, but what does that actually mean with you and yourself in private? Because I think that's been a thing for me. When I think about being a role model, or if I were to be a mom someday, I think about that all the time. I'm like, okay, but do I really believe it? Like, do I? Because if I want to emulate something like that matters to my kids or to my students or what other young women that I'm around, like, how am I going to make that real for me? So I kind of want to segue. Can I segue? Okay.
Segue. So, we're going to go whatever route you go.
Because of my frustration with that, and because I struggle myself in self-image and things like that, I've just read a lot and been looking for more help with that. And something that I have found that exists is this idea of body resiliency, which is based on a book.
Yay, we have a prop.
And some podcasts.
We stand some props.
Yay. I will just go ahead and say now I have not finished this book. I have only scratched the surface, but I came across it because of some Instagram accounts I started following that were very real about body image and like address the psychology behind why women have a hard time believing that they're good enough with whatever skin they're in. And about like society and sociology and all kinds of important stuff like that.
This sounds like my kind of book.
Yeah. So this book is really cool. It's called More Than a Body, and it was written by they're twins, and they both have PhDs in like body psychology.
Wow.
Which is really cool. And they're young and just hip and cool. But the general idea is that we, as a society, see our bodies, women specifically, see our own bodies through the lens of other people looking at us, instead of being in your body, living in your body, and it just being. Which is an overemphasis on the body as what it's seen and how it should be beautiful and it should be appealing. And there is a conditioning that happens for, especially, there's probably more women that are more inclined for that. But, and they talk a lot about this in this book, and it's about seeing yourself as your body is a tool. It is a part of you, but it's not you.
Right.
Like, and you are not just your body. You live in your body.
Kind of appreciating your body for what it does and how it helps you get through the day, as opposed to you're not just what you look like in a bikini. You are how you get through the day, how you get out of bed. Are you able to, function throughout the day? Because there's a lot of people out there who, let's look at, help me with the word. The ADHD's kicking in. Paralyzed, neck down. Paraplegic. Thank you.
Quadra.
So what?
Isn't it? If it's neck down, it's quadriplegic. Yeah.
Okay. Paraplegic would be the whole way, I think. Right?
But anything like that, you get people in those situations who don't have the ability to move their body, and they look at everybody else not for, this is what your body looks like. It's, man, I wish I could walk.
The functionality of that. Yeah, and I think that you could say that for anybody that struggles with health and like chronic illness.
Absolutely.
And things like that. So it's this idea that we see ourselves as an object because we were trained to see that, and not as what they really are, which is a tool. Like, it's not meant to be this like this delicate little ornament on a tree.
Sorry, I'm a 90s kid. Tool is just a really funny word to me.
I was like, what did I say? But yeah, so I don't know. I think that for me, and struggling to get there with being fully in like the body positivity end of things, this is a focus on addressing what's going on that's preventing me from doing that, or what makes it difficult for me, and seeing like me as a holistic person doesn't just mean like if I gain 5 pounds or if I, whatever it is.
Right. You are not your body. Right. You are a soul. You have a body.
Right. And it's all a part of one thing, but it's not for the purpose of, I don't exist on this earth to fit into certain clothes. And
your sole purpose is not to pay taxes, lose weight, and then die.
No. But we buy into it. Like we would never say that, but we totally buy into it.
Yeah, because it's that societal conditioning from the time you're this big.
Yep.
So what's the book have to say?
So the book talks about,
where are you at?
The mini, I'm only like 2 chapters in, but in the overview, they kind of explain what the book's going to be. So I'm not an expert, so I was prepared enough to think about it, but not prepared enough to finish a whole book.
That's okay.
But the big thing is recognizing there's this thing called self-objectification, which is the tendency to see yourself or worry about how someone else is looking at you. And programming your brain not to do that and to just be in the present moment, which can be done there's lots of ways to do that. And they talk about tools for that. And then also this idea of body resiliency, which is, I think the best way to describe it is just having awareness. Like having awareness of what your own brain does to you, having awareness of how your environment affects you.
Yeah.
And different parts of like that. So
when
being
I think
mindful.
of like body awareness, I think about like where my toe is in relative to the chair leg. So this is not what you're talking about at all.
No, I'm talking about your internal thoughts about your body and how you're affected in your mind more about your body and less about like, am I walking weird? I don't know.
So is it more being aware of your thoughts about your body?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because the problem lies in when we talk about like, women coming into your store that are like, you don't know how to help them because there's like obviously an awkward level that they feel about them in clothes.
Right.
And it's that they get to that level because of a bunch of other stuff that's going on in your brain, in your subconscious, things that you've believed, whether that's like your own negative self-talk, or there's a lot of things that it could be. But I think a lot of it has to do with work on your own thoughts and what you can notice affect your thoughts.
Yeah, so I'm an action person. I need to know, okay, here's the problem. How do we fix it? So now that we've recognized it's, been ingrained in us for so freaking long, how do we go about reversing that,
Yeah.
Is there any answer? Like, does the book have an answer?
The book has answers.
Do you have an answer? What did we bring you on here for?
I would say I don't have, like I said, I fully admit that I did not read the whole book yet. I'm putting it out there because I think there's really good things that I had never heard of when I first heard an interview of them in a podcast. And they were talking through a lot of that stuff. And some of it is the action that you're talking about has to do with when you in your head, like for me, I'm just going to speak through what I deal with. So if I hear in my head, ooh, like I see a picture of myself and I'm like, oh, I got to remember not to sit like that. Okay, so that'll be an example of a thought that pops into my head that's very attacking of myself and what I look like. The action involved there is saying, okay, this is where my brain went. It's okay that I don't look, it's okay that whatever it is that I'm seeing, I don't like right now. But I don't need to internalize this. Certain things aren't serving me. So certain things in my own trains of thought can be disrupted if I recognize that they're going there. So I think that's what I would say as far as action goes from what I know already. And
just acknowledge it and then choose not to dwell on it.
Yeah.
And take that time.
I think you give things power when you don't address what they do to you and when you don't call it out. So for me, even literally this sounds crazy, but like in the car, like being like, Catherine, no. Like I will have to say that, or I will have to know what is true. Like,
Absolutely.
what is the lie that I'm saying because of whatever is going on in here, and what is true?
But I
To
feel
combat
like
that.
it's so much better to say it out loud.
Oh, yeah.
Because when it's in your head, it's not quite as tangible. And I know this for me. Amanda, tell me if you do this too with the ADHD. You talk to yourself all the time.
All the time. It's an
All
endless
day
narrative,
long.
just a loop over and over and over. Sometimes it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes it wanders, but yeah.
But it's all throughout the day saying things over and over again. And when it comes to something like that you're trying to, I don't know if I want to say uncondition or just flip the script
Reprogram.
on. Yeah, reprogram. Whatever you want to do, it's helpful to say it out loud and really hear the negative thought and then change it to something positive, because it's going to help hold you accountable to that. If it's just in your head, well, maybe this is just in my world, that if your thoughts stay in your head, they're not really real. You can pretend like you didn't think them. But as soon as they're
Out in the open.
out in the open, I was going to say
In someone else's
actualized.
ears.
Is that a word? Is actualized a word? Sure, let's make it a word. As soon as it comes into fruition, then all of a sudden you can think back, oh shit, that's not okay. And you have to change it.
So I have a lot of people, and I've heard it enough, who will come in and they will say something like, oh, I don't like my arms. Oh, my arms look really fat in this. And they say it out loud enough. First of all, I put it on my mirror. No one's looking at your arms. Stop. I actually painted it on my dressing room.
You did?
Mirror. I did.
How have I missed this?
It's not in. It's in the old dressing room.
Oh, that's how.
So I put it on there, like, no one's looking at your arms. Stop. You look killer. You're slaying. And then I started thinking, well, everybody else is worried about their arms. What do my arms look like? Do I need to work on these things? Like, should I be embarrassed about that? So, like, in a matter of putting it out there, yeah, but like, who else is picking up on that? Because now I'm self-conscious about my arms.
Okay. Yeah. I think
Insert sad emoji.
negativity is contagious. So the more you
man, it
fixate
is.
on something, that's obviously gonna affect your environment. And negative people are gonna come across you and go, if they think that, like, I'm way bigger than them, things like that.
Yeah.
So I guess when I say it out loud, we're talking more, because that's a random person that comes into your store that you may or may not know. That's probably not the time or the place to say out loud to a person working there trying to help you make a purchase. Here's all the crap I feel right now.
Oh, but they do.
I
They
believe
do.
it because I
I'm the
think
therapist.
Yeah, I think that's because people don't actively do this with trusted people they've decided they want to do that with. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's...
Well, because I feel like if they don't know me, right? They're saying these things to people that they do know already, and those people are saying, oh no, you look fine, stop, but it doesn't feel genuine. And I think maybe we've talked about this before, about, when people like give you compliments or give you praise or whatever, there's just certain people that it just doesn't feel genuine from. So when they come in and they complain to me about their arms or their thighs or how tall or how short they are, and then they hear it from me like, oh no, you look fine. Like, I don't know if that's validation for them that they do look fine, or that they just really kind of need a kindred spirit to agree with them.
That one.
Which I'm not going to do, because if they look
Right.
fine, I'm going to tell them. But, I'm also not going to let them walk out looking like a trash bag either. So
I think it's maybe along the lines of, they want the kindred spirit, not necessarily to agree with them, but they want somebody that they don't feel has any stock in what they say. They're going to walk out the door, and you're not going to deal with any repercussion from them saying it repetitively.
Right, but the problem I have is, like, even if I do say, no, you look fine, they don't believe me either.
Yeah.
Because
a
approval comes
lose-lose.
from
It's
within.
a lose.
That's what we call
yeah.
a lose-lose scenario.
And we want win-wins.
We have got to stop this narrative. If
Yeah.
if somebody says you're beautiful, take the compliment.
Yeah.
Nobody's trying to, win one over on you. There are people out there who will try to sell you something and say whatever it is I'm not going to do that. And I know a lot of people won't do that. But, your family's not trying to sell you on anything. So just listen. If they say you're beautiful, you're beautiful.
So, in a perfect world, receiving a compliment would be easy, right? Are you good at receiving compliments?
Oh, absolutely not.
Are you good at receiving compliments? I'm awful at it. I usually just smile and then change the subject. And I have this hunch, tell me if you disagree, that part of the reason behind that is, like you've said, we grew up with this over-sexualization. You can laugh at me all you want. You two should be used to this by now.
I'm going to. It doesn't.
Hey. But we grew up with that. So anytime we got a compliment, we analyzed who it was that was saying it. Well, if it comes from family or friends, they feel obligated to say it. If it comes from a stranger on the street, well, if it's a man, oh, no, he's just saying that because he thinks we're hot and wants to get into our pants, something like that, right? That's always been the idea. So receiving a compliment is really, really difficult. And you want to say, yeah, just take the compliment. I don't know how to yet.
Like, I didn't say it was that easy. I just think that we need to disrupt the narrative that we don't deserve the compliment. That's what I was trying to say. I wasn't trying to say that it's easy. I know that it's not, but we need to try to make it easier on ourselves. So how do we do that? Do we condition other people? Is it like conditioning ourselves, or what we gotta do? What we gotta do? Let's do it. Action plan. Action.
I'm not good at action. I'm good at winging stuff. So how do we, I guess maybe the question is, how do we accept ourselves?
Yeah, I think the core of what you're saying is that there's a reason why it's difficult to accept a compliment. And I think a lot of that comes from what, as I kind of talked about before, what are you saying about yourself to yourself? And how is that not lining up with what somebody is saying? Because I think that's when it's difficult. It's either some people just struggle with receiving compliments because they don't like attention. I think there's people that are just like that, and they get squirmy. But I also think if there's something that's directly in contrast with what you say to yourself all the time, there's something, whether maybe that's because you don't want to deal, like I don't want to deal with the fact that I've been, like, this thing in my head might be wrong. I've been clinging to it this whole time. Yeah. Like, this is what I believe. This is how I've been functioning.
Maybe you don't want to change. You don't want to put in the work to.
Yeah. And I think just, you have to think about too, like, I know you mentioned who is saying the compliment, but like at the end of the day, if someone's saying something to you and they want to say it to you, it's not because they're lying. For most situations, like at this point, if it's someone in your life and it's someone that's going to take the time to say something, people could easily just say nothing. So I think addressing, why are you uncomfortable? Is it because the person is just uncomfortable, or is it because you think something directly opposite of what they're saying about yourself, which has to do with a lot of negative self-talk?
Could it also be a lack of trust?
In the other person or in yourself?
Both.
I mean, I
know for me it works that way. And maybe this is bitchy of me to say, but we get social media and we get filters on everything. So, I mean, that has even worsened it because people don't want to take a picture without a filter. So there's this little aspect there of, do you even trust the photos that you see of yourself? Because when you're on Snapchat and you can scroll through, and I mean, the dog faces are fun and the big mouth filter. I love the big mouth filter. It just matches me. But you have all of these things that can change the way you look, to the point that, is that almost conditioning us in this world to not trust what we look like and not trust what we see in the mirror?
I have sort of a thought.
I love sort of thoughts.
It's kind of along those same lines. So, like earlier on, I didn't really care. Like, I cared about how I looked and how I was presenting myself and, my body image and everything. But I recently realized that I wouldn't take super, help me.
I can't. I don't know what you're saying.
I wouldn't take really outrageous steps to try to make myself look a certain way. Like, I liked my makeup, I liked my hair, I like
you're minimal,
whatever. But I wouldn't take those steps to make myself look like a certain person. And I realize it's because when I go out into the world, and when people see me and what they think of me, that's their problem, not mine, right? Because I don't really care. I think I look good. Now, having said that, and having edited myself online for 9-10 weeks now, now it's my problem because now I have to look at myself. And so when we're taking these pictures with these selfies and then we're doing the filters, it's because now it's our problem. And, you know, thoughts? Am I right? Am I wrong?
I think that's a lot to it. Like the idea that it's easy to say when you don't see it. It's easy to say when you're not looking at yourself all the time.
Right.
I like everything. I don't care about what everybody thinks, or I'm not worried about what they like or don't like about what I'm putting out there right now. But then when you you are monitoring it by literally seeing it as it happens. I think that's a huge part of it for sure. I would totally agree.
So you would say that maybe the social media and everything like that has a huge, like, and it's not even just like seeing other people that are beautiful. It's not seeing influencers.
It's comparison.
It is comparison because now you're looking at your pictures and you're looking at your image and now you're comparing it to other people. And now that's a problem. It wasn't a problem before, even when like you're just looking in magazines because you weren't in the magazine.
Right.
Now you are.
And neither were people that you saw in real life.
Right. Right.
Social media absolutely has wrecked many things, I think.
I agree.
Yeah.
I don't really know.
Right. So
it's the lack of I think it's because everything feels there's very few things that feel very truly private. I think everything is so out there that even we're thinking about what stuff is out there that is of us. It's like multi-dimensional obsession about our own what we're being seen as, or what's being put out there, or what we're being compared to. It's a lot of constant feedback for one, like likes and comments and.
Some people get so hung up on those likes.
I want to say something, and I feel like it's going to make people angry, and I don't know the best way to say it.
Right? I don't know what it is, but I know how you're feeling right now.
I'm going to say it anyway, if I can figure out the words. Going on to the social media aspect and the likes, the comments, the shares, the comparison, I think it goes back to accountability, right? You choose what you put online. And a lot of times, again, tell me if you disagree, people put things online for the likes and the comments and that validation. You know, I'm going to put this online because I think people will like it. And then that'll make me feel good. Because haven't there been studies done that likes and shares
your brain chemistry?
Yeah, and it'll release the endorphins for happiness.
Yeah.
And there is a connection there. So when you get addicted to that feeling and then you continue putting things online, then you place all of your self-worth and how you feel about yourself in everybody else's hands.
External validation.
And that goes back to the accountability. And as awful as this may come across, you're doing it to yourself.
Oh, absolutely. It's a choice that we all participate in.
And I think that's a huge thing, is then recognizing that, taking ownership of it and saying, look, if I want to feel good about myself and this is hindering that, stop putting every detail of your life online. Every time you wear an outfit that you like, you don't have to put it out to the world. Because wear it because you like it.
Maybe find a new method of validation.
Yeah.
You know, because you can get endorphins other ways.
You can get them out in the real world.
Yeah, and a lot of the studies about that are also, it's like a cheap version. It's not even like a fulfilling kind of brain release. It's
just
like
instant.
It's the instant gratification stuff is actually there's a reason why you get addicted to it.
Yeah.
And it's doesn't make you feel good. You don't feel good when you're constantly checking social media. You don't feel good when you're addicted to whatever it is you're addicted to. It's a negative. It's not good.
It's not.
So,
and then when you have all of that going into it, it's one of those, one of my biggest catchphrases again, that's on you. And I mean, if you want to take back your power over how you feel about yourself, maybe it is time to analyze, how are you trying to get validation for your body? Is it coming from you, the only place it should come from? Or are you putting it out there and leaving it to external forces that aren't living with your thoughts all day.
Right. Yeah, and as far as like more action plans, I know you have experienced freedom of taking away social media before.
I love it.
Because this isn't going to be
like
everyone.
it.
I think certain personalities and certain kinds of people are more inclined to get sucked into that. And I know I'm absolutely somebody who gets sucked into it.
But
so,
you take your month off of social media.
But yes, I started removing either I'll just notice in myself a fidgeting, like being fidgety, the ADHD brain going off, like things cranking up a notch that I'm already at a above baseline for some of that stuff. But I'll notice that in myself and I'll say, you know what? I'm going to remove this from the situation and I will delete all my apps. And whether that's for a couple of days or for a week or for a month, it absolutely it helps me reset.
Absolutely.
And how I feel.
Do you think it helps you reset your self-image? Do you think that that's something that like honestly helps you love yourself and accept that who you are?
Getting off social media?
Yeah, like
absolutely.
Speaking personally, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think for me, it allows me to be more present in what I'm really doing in my life and what's really important, which ends up taking away the focus about my body image, which I think the emphasizing of it is part of the problem, which is why the whole body positivity movement I think can be problematic because it's overhyping it. It's still spending a lot of time thinking about it and a lot of time looking at it.
It's a really good cause, but it's shifting it from, hey, diet culture, lose the weight, to no, love yourself the way you are.
Which is
but
good
you're doing
in
that
theory,
so
but
much.
But it's a lot of, it's still emphasizing it so much.
And you're forgetting to actually go out and live and use your body for what it can do. Like I know what you're really big on is, you go running. And maybe you didn't run as far as you wanted to, but you were still able to do that. And it's appreciating all of the, I guess, gifts that you are given from having a functional body that you overlook. I mean, how many years ago was it? 2 years ago now that you and I went on that 10-mile hike that I forced my dog into right after surgery.
Yes.
Right. And
how dare you?
Man,
Poor
she
Phoenix.
she did not move from the couch for the rest of the night. We got home, she sat down, she said, "Nope, I hate you." But I mean, we went and did that because we were able to. We wanted to. It was just something fun. We didn't do it with this mindset of, I want to lose weight. I haven't been really active. I want to go do this. No, it would be really fun to go get out and go for a hike. And
seeing, once again, your body is your body to allow you to do things. It gives you opportunity to be in your life, to do life. And for me, I'm not there. I am working on reprogramming the part of me that's like, oh, you didn't run this many times this week. Like very much programmed to think it's about, I have to, because if I don't, then my body's going to just completely warp into some balloon. This the irrational thought that I have. But what's really important is I'm moving and I enjoy it when I do it and I feel better when I do it. And having to focus on that instead of the other thing has been hard too. So
well, and I know you're big on this too, is eating the food because you need it. You need food to live.
But my endorphins. I need the endorphins from something.
And that's one of those things that plays into it is, we'll punish ourselves for, like you said, keeping track of when you ran, when you worked out, what you did. Were you active enough this week?
It's a transactional thing. Like,
yeah.
Oh, I can eat this donut because I did 3 times this week. Yeah.
As opposed to, I want to eat healthy. I want to put good things in my body. And I'm allowed to have a donut because I love them.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I like that.
Can we go get donuts?
A
Krispy Kreme sounds so good.
Just had a hamburger with mushroom Swiss and
you did not just have a hamburger. That was hours ago.
Yes.
That's recent.
I want donuts.
It's recent enough.
Get off.
I'm really kind of vibing on this whole idea that you need to change your mindset from your body being, whatever, to it being a tool and useful for doing things. I think that
Vibes.
You will treat it better. You know, just like you treat things that you value at home, like a KitchenAid mixer. I love my KitchenAid mixer, right? So
I would never throw my coffee pot across the floor.
you can't throw your coffee pot across the floor because it means so much to you, and it's such a valuable tool.
Instant pot.
So I'd actually never heard of that concept before, and I think like hearing you talk about it, like that's game changing. When you think about your body as a useful thing that can be used for, you know, good things, for bad things, but it can be used for good things too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's how I feel about it.
Yeah.
And
that's that.
I like it.
Yeah. I totally agree. Yeah, it's something you have to it's an everyday kind of decision as far as I'm grateful that you mentioned action plan, because it helps me, because I do tend to get a little stuck in the thinking part of it and then wanting to, okay, now what do I do with this? So I think too, having goals is super important. I'm sure this has been discussed or will be discussed on this podcast. But what realistically do you want to do with this amount of time with this topic? Because when in changing anything about yourself or your life, takes time, and it takes you putting some effort into addressing
and being committed to it.
Yep.
You have to wake up,
make
a choice.
So like as a week-to-week basis, just having, whether that's, I find a lot of help in journaling when I feel bad about whatever I'm feeling bad about. Putting it on paper is helpful.
What can that be called? Oh, come on. You got to know. Go to the first 5.
I didn't have my microphone turned on.
You son of a biscuit.
Also, I wasn't listening. I was paying attention to the time because I didn't do that last time.
Oh, my goodness.
So you're going to have to field this one on your own.
Okay. Well, then you have to listen and be refreshed.
All right.
Kat likes to journal, right? Write it down when you're having negative thoughts.
And then take out the
Get
trash.
it out. That one.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, she got there,
Did
folks.
it again.
Oh, no. Oh, dear.
Every time I do the, oh, yeah, it feeds back. Anyway.
But yeah, that's just where my head went to that. Was something that we just talked about in the first 5 was, you know, when you do have those negative thoughts about your body, write them down. I find it fun to burn them.
Yeah.
That's just me. If you have a fireplace, it's so fun. I mean, just light it.
Yeah.
Watch it go up in
smoke. Very therapeutic.
Yeah, it is, because then you're getting rid of it. Get it out of your head. It doesn't take up space there.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can't very well charge your thoughts rent, so it doesn't do any good to keep negative thoughts there.
Does that mean 1 minute?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Thanks for the subtle.
I was like, why are we all doing this?
Whee! Okay. So, did you have a quote that was in the book? I thought you said something about a quote.
Oh, put me on the spot.
I know.
I don't know. There's a quote from Chelsea Clinton on here. I don't know.
I mean, you don't have to read it. I could have sworn that when we started this, before we started this, you said you had a prop and a quote. Maybe we don't have a quote.
I can read
Maybe
this.
we'll
Here's
just
a sentence. You ready? Positive body image isn't believing your body looks good. It is knowing your body is good regardless of how it looks.
I love that.
So that's kind of their premise.
Yeah, because your body is a tool. It's not just an object. It's fantastic. And I think, do you have anything else you want to say outside of that?
No, not really.
Just love your body, love yourself. Hooray. We're done.
And it's a process, and be patient.
Man, it's a process.
I would like to get into the nitty gritty of like body image and what people do to themselves to try to improve their image.
Ooh,
but I mean,
I'm sensing a part 2.
Oh no, maybe.
Hey. All right.
Yeah,
well,
cool.
All right. Olivia's going to dance us out.
I don't want to dance us out. I can't dance us out of anything. And we're just going to awkwardly talk until we're done.
No, you're done.
We're going to agree. I'm done.
Cut her off.
Cut her off. She needs a donut.
I need a donut with my kombucha. Can I have my candy back?
Yes.
I want my candy.
I'll give it to you.
Yay. Be kind and get people to open up.
Be kind. Rewind.
I like be kind.
Wow, that brought me back.
And on that note, be kind. I feel like Ellen, be kind to one another.
We'll see you guys later.
I don't like outros.